One thing you should know about my channel is that a large chunk of my audience is autistic. Now, if you're stupid, you will perceive that as me insulting my audience, because only a stupid person would think that a moderate dose of autism is a bad thing. Autistic people are very good at analyzing things like political policy using logic and rationality. And it's my job as a schizoid applied sociologist to provide the autists with a framework for understanding the more nuanced information that exists in the kind of implicit world of vibes and intuition. Let's start by analyzing some memes. For those of you who have done your homework and watched my most important video of all time called Archetypal Memetics, the Theory of Applied Sociology. Wait, that's not even what it's called. Fuck. You will know that memes derive their psychological power by striking the right balance between the archetypal and the mundane, or the sacred and profane in Durkheimian terms. A meme like this one is funny because it juxtaposes the archetypal and the mundane in a very clear, stark, contrasting manner. This scene from The Joker is one of the most important and archetypal scenes really of recent film history, where the Joker reveals himself to be truly the archetype of evil. He doesn't care about making money like a normal criminal. He genuinely just wants the world to burn. And when you use this deeply archetypal image to illustrate perhaps the most mundane problem that one could come across, it's naturally funny. My thesis is that a significant plurality, and maybe even a majority, of the most popular memes nowadays are funny because they contain this archetypal juxtaposition. This meme is another one of my favorites because I'm a Warcraft 3 player.
Goated timing, bro. I sent 2 of my best chads to rizz up the orc leader. They should be returning shortly. Damn, these orcs got 0 chill.
This scene in the game is when basically the main character starts his path down into becoming evil, right? He has to purge the city of Strathome because it's been infected by grain shipments from the undead. Compare that to having to do the relative mundane task of, clearing out a shitty code base, and it's funny. Same concept with this meme, right? You have the archetypal spirits of depression and anxiety and negative emotion communicating to you, and then you have, brother, do you have any logs I can borrow? That's funny. It also makes use of the rule of threes, which is important, right? Like if I walk into a room and I go, hey Bob, nice shirt. James, looking good today. Michael, nice weather we're having. There's just something about it that's funny. This one is another good one. Again, mundane, everyday moment being contrasted immediately with the archetypal image of a beloved childhood character looking kind of funny. And here's another meme, again, demonstrating the same principle. Simple mundane activity using an archetypal, dying of tiredness face. To prove my point, here is the same meme, but with the text more closely matched to the description of the image. You can tell that it lacks the naturally humorous juxtaposition and instead just becomes sort of a bland, it still is an archetypal meme in that it's showing an exaggerated expression of a real emotion, but it lacks the humor that characterizes a lot of the funny memes with that contrast between the mundane and the archetypal. I want to emphasize that not all memes fit clearly on that graph, and there's a lot of memes from my Zoomer audience who have this absurd, ironic, postmodern kind of view of things where the memes are sort of funny because they depart from this sort of standard meme format, right? Because if you go back to the original funny memes, it's usually just typical ironic subversion of expectations, like this one. It's basically just setup and then punchline that, is unexpected, and that's why it's funny. It's not necessarily contrasting the archetype with the mundane, although you can kind of see it in this meme because the archetype of animal facts, knowledge, and then something very specific of well, never mind, that doesn't even make sense, but anyway. But I'll just throw up some of the Zoomer memes that I don't really understand. I mean, this one, I get it. It's just kind of funny and absurd of here's what the future looks like, and it's being projected outwards. Again, it doesn't fit into that archetypal mundane juxtaposition, but it's interesting. And there's some other ones that I'll put on the screen while I'm talking. And because look, a while ago I asked for memes from my audience for me to analyze, and Jesus Christ, some of them are insane and weird, and I definitely can't show them, but interesting nonetheless. Next, I want to look at 2 very interesting memes that provide some insight as to the role of truth in imbuing memes with their psychological potency. These are not funny internet image memes. These are 2 scenes from 2 different cinematic meme complexes. The first is a clip from Bo Burnham's Inside, and the second is a clip from Game of Thrones. What both of these memes demonstrate is that the closer that a meme is to truth, the greater the memetic durability it has. Memetic durability being the degree to which a meme is able to embed itself in a human psyche sort of vertically, as opposed to accessibility, which is how easily a meme can spread to others, sort of horizontally. Bo Burnham's song, Welcome to the Internet, opens with these lines. Welcome to the Internet. Have a look around. Anything that brain of yours can think of can be found. We've got mountains of content. Some better, some worse.
If none of it's of interest to you, you'd be the first.
The reason that last line is compelling is because it's an observation rooted in objective truth rather than subjective value judgments. Meaning, the line could have been something like, if none of it's of interest to you, then you'd be a fool or you'd be naive. And those lines just don't hit as hard because there's an element of ego and value judgment to it. Whereas the line, if none of it's of interest to you, you'd be the first, is what I would think is an objectively true statement. There's literally no human being on the planet who could not find something that they would be very much interested in the internet. So this line makes the rest of the song more gripping because it demonstrates very quickly all of this vibes-based intuitive information that Bo Burnham's character is not someone who's just projecting his evil, crazy ideology. He's someone who's, very much articulating the terrible truths of how, horrible the internet is. And it makes the rest of the song more gripping. You see the same phenomenon playing out in this scene from Game of Thrones, where the character, the Hound, issues a threat to a rogue soldier by telling him he's going to kill him if he doesn't hand over his delicious chicken dinner.
You lived your life for the king. You're gonna die for some chickens.
Someone is.
Again, this line is compelling because it's stripped of its ego and bravado. The vibes that this simple line gives off conveys a significant amount of important intuitive information about the Hound's character. He's not a naive warrior who's overconfident and brash. He's cold and calculating, and he knows that every fight that he takes puts his own life at risk, and yet he's willing to get in the fight anyway. And so when he says, it's not you're gonna die, it's someone's gonna die, it just shows how, damn, this guy's serious, because he's not just issuing a threat that's, filled with bravado. It's like, no. It's an objective statement. Someone's gonna die. The implication, of course, being you're gonna die. You can see a similar pattern in this Key and Peele skit about two fighters trash-talking each other.
I'm gonna dance around him while he tried to hit me with his cane. Oh, man.
God chose me for this fight. God is the teacher. Derek is the student, and I am God's instrument. When I squeeze your lungs, Derek, and you beg me for life, then your heart will open up to the Lord.
I'm gonna knock him out round one, bitch. Wait. What did he say again?
Meme analysis like the kind we just did is important because it trains your intuitions to be able to detect real information that is not conveyed by means of rational propositions. Most people's beliefs are not shaped by Socratic dialogue. They are shaped and forged by intuitive, implicit vibes and information. Logical argumentation and Socratic discussion are disgustingly useful ways to refine ideas and craft powerful theories. But being able to make a sword is an entirely different thing from being able to wield that sword. With that being said, I have some announcements for viewers of this channel. If you're interested in this kind of applied sociological analysis, I encourage you to check out my Substack, where I write about such topics as memetic herd immunity and the ethics of dealing with collateral damage from memetic warfare, among many other topics. Second, I will be continuing every Wednesday at about 4 p.m. Central Time with the 2017 Jordan Peterson Personality Psychology Lecture Watch Parties. I give commentary and analysis over the one subject that Jordan Peterson is actually an expert in. And if you've not dove deep into his work before, but you're kind of interested, I encourage you to check those out. They are a lot of fun.
I don't know how to say his name. Gazaniga. That's wrong.
Whoa!
Gazaniga. Yeah, I think that's it. And
Shut down the stream! Holy shit, at least he didn't hard R it. If those get more popular, I might do them twice a week and maybe even throw things in from different lecture series like John Vervaeke or Michael Sugru. And last, if I am to wage a meme war successfully, I will need to find sustenance in the generosity of those of you deranged enough to find me a compelling figure, which means I will very likely be recommissioning my Patreon page that I decommissioned a while ago, sometime in the next few weeks. I think I'll be posting more personal behind-the-scenes kind of content and looking to create a network of politically and culturally engaged people more so than, just a cult. But we'll see. So keep an eye out for all that. Until then, good luck and Godspeed.